So again, thanks for coming out and joining us online. This is Dr. Sarah Strom-Kay. She's our new member of our communications faculty here at Elmhurst College, and she's going to be the program director for our brand new organizational leadership and communication program. Sarah?
Hi, thank you, Tim. The organizational leadership and communication major is recognizing the need for effective leaders in all types of professional environments or even non-professional environments. Leadership is a skill that can be learned, much like baking or gardening, but maybe with better results. Courses in this major focus on developing key aspects of leadership. The program moves beyond the functions of management, the tasks associated with managing, to the communicative behaviors that are found in leaders. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'd like to spend just a few minutes today to share with you some of the details of this new major and to respond to your questions. There's no need to take notes. We're recording the webinar, and you can check it out later at the Elmhurst College website. You will see contact information at the bottom of each slide. Just in case you don't have time to listen to the entire webinar, you have an email address that you can refer to. So let's get started. First, I'll give you an overview of the program, then some of the courses and learning objectives. Next, we're going to take a look at how the schedule works. And finally, how are you going to apply the learning of this program to your professional and personal lives? First off, you're earning a bachelor's degree. It's a bachelor's degree from Elmhurst College and from the Department of Communication Arts and Sciences. Students are going to learn how to apply these leadership skills to any type of organization. So if it's a for-profit organization, a non-profit organization, if you work in a high-powered business environment, all of these skill sets can be applied into different workplaces. The curriculum focuses on understanding leadership practices and theories. There's been a great involvement of leadership theory over the years. Years past, we used to think that great leaders were born, and they're not made. And as we had an opportunity to look at leaders throughout time, we found that, yeah, these are skills that actually can be learned. We're going to learn how to apply this knowledge to an organizational context. Now, what this means is that you're going to learn the foundations for leadership and how to make the theories applicable to your workplace. So, how do you know if the program's for you? Well, it's designed for students who are at least 24 years of age. So that gives you an opportunity to apply some of your life experiences to your curriculum. Classes meet in the evening once a week. So you do have some time to process information, to complete assignments, to work in group projects. You're going to complete the major courses themselves in about 15 months, but there's a break built in there, so you have some time to kind of take a breather in between your academic experiences and complete the whole program, the major parts of the program, in 16 months. All courses have an online component, so that means that some of the coursework is independent and on your own. And in addition to all of those major courses, you will get the general education courses that you need to, in order to complete your degree. It's important to understand diversity in organizations. And one of the things that the major focuses on is understanding this diversity. The program integrates knowledge from other disciplines in developing an advanced understanding of what is leadership. There's an application-oriented curriculum, which means you're going to learn something and then apply it, if not in your professional lives, in your personal lives, or certainly in a class assignment. The program has a strong global arts emphasis with a focus on professional preparation. It's designed to develop leaders who are of high character, who can think independently and make effective decisions. Hopefully you can come out with considering multiple perspectives and understanding diversity. And the other emphasis of the program is not simply reaction to problems and situations, but to see what's not there and be able to lead others in situations that you can't quite predict. So it's kind of leading through the unknown. The organizational leadership and communication major takes this class learning and the theory, the things you're going to learn in class, with some personality and self-assessments. And then you're going to have an opportunity to apply these things in an outside lab environment. I'll get to more on that in a minute. Emphasis in this major is placed based on applying values and different processes in your leadership in professional environments. So there's some goals. The program focuses on connecting theory and practice and reinforces the college's mission of developing you, students, into leaders that can make a difference in the global world. Some of the skills that you can walk away with are persuasion and negotiation. You can see these in some of the courses. Maybe change management, plan implementation, problem solving. You're certainly going to learn about teamwork and formal and informal presentation. After all, it is a communication degree. But you're also going to learn how to manage a project, how to process and maintain information, not just Google, but other types of information. You can understand group dynamics, and also assess organizational culture. Overall, developing workplace relationships is one of the key indicators of success as a leader. Here are the courses. You can read through these on your own, but there's a few key points that I do want to share with you. If you can look at the first term, interpersonal communication in the workplace, what we'll see here is an emphasis on relationships in work. We often know that we spend more time with people at work than we do anywhere else in our lives. Good or bad, it's just kind of the way it is, our waking hours anyway. So the interpersonal communication in the workplace is not going to simply explore interpersonal relationships between married relationships and dating relationships and family relationships, but how we need to work as partners in our workplaces. Intercultural communication is going to take that a step further. We're going to not only look at partners who are similar to us, but people who are different. Understanding intercultural communication isn't just looking at different nations, it's looking at different individuals within our workplace environment, and sometimes different workplaces, bringing us to small group communication. Once we work from these dyadic exchanges, meaning two people in small groups, we can take that experience and begin to work with one another. Now, we all know in our workplaces today, rarely do we get the opportunity or have the expectation of working independently. Frequently, we are working in teams. Get into term 2. There's some accounting classes in there. Trust me, it's all for the good when it comes to project management in terms of understanding these accounting classes. And working with our business department here at Elmhurst College, we've identified 2 solid accounting courses that are going to give you the functional aspects of what the accounting practices truly are, but you're not going to be an accountant. You're just going to have some foundation for understanding and reading a spreadsheet. Professional communication, you're going to take an opportunity to explore your written and spoken communication in a professional environment. And then that's partnered with organizational communication. What we do in organizational communication is look at all the functions of communication, interpersonal, small group, public speaking, and look at them from an organizational perspective. One of the key components of understanding organizational communication is taking a look at systems theory and also networks and how we can really understand how information is exchanged in our environments. Leadership and communication. I think that course would be first, but it's not. It's the crux of the program. But what we do with organizational communication and the leadership in comm is, let's take, for example, one of the theories in leadership many of you are familiar with are leader-member exchange, the LMS theory. It's way we, in order to persuade and work with others in our environment, we adapt our speaking style, we adapt our leadership style to the receiver. So the listener, the person with whom we're working. So if we understand from an organizational standpoint how information is shared between people, between departments, we can adjust our leadership style based on how that information is exchanged. Taking a look at term 3, got some conflict and negotiation. Yeah, it's fun to sit around and fight with one another at work, but sometimes we do need to negotiate through that kind of conflict. And how does that happen? In your capstone and case studies, the final 2 courses in the major, the capstone is your opportunity to apply what you've learned to a workplace case. You will not be told what the answer is. You're going to figure it out on your own. And then, coupling that with the case studies in organizational communication, that will give you some cases that you can actually see what the answer is. So you get to compare the unknown situation with the known. Here's the schedule of the classes. It goes into great detail, but I don't want to spend tons of time talking about this. I do want to have an opportunity for your questions. So I would kind of like to let this stay as a point of reference if you want to ask questions about what happens when and how it actually works. As you can sort of see, the first 2 classes, for example, I'll just tell you how to read the grid. The first 2 the classes are interpersonal communication in the workplace and intercultural comm. So they both run for 12 weeks. Interpersonal starts at 8 o'clock or at 6 o'clock, and the intercultural starts at like 8:10 or something like that. So you have 2 classes that meet for 2 hours on one night during the week. And then After 12 weeks, then the next class meets for six weeks straight. The reason for having some classes meet longer and shorter periods of time has to do with the objectives of the course and how we need a certain amount of class time in order to reach certain learning objectives. A small group communication course, for example, is going to require you to spend some time working with one another. So we need to have that built in to the class. Faculty are going to make the most of your class time. For example, you may be assigned to view a film prior to your class meeting and then respond to the discussion questions as teams in class. As adult learners, you know how to do certain things on your own. Viewing a film is an independent function. You don't need to sit in a class with your classmates and view a film. But boy, interacting with one another is a group activity. So certain content will be available to you online. Our college happens to use Blackboard. So certain content will be available to you online, and then you come to class prepped in order to interact with one another in that live environment. You're incorporating independent learning activities into your daily lives right now. Every time you make a decision for your household, a decision for your children, a decision at work, those are independent adult decisions that you're making. So what you're doing is transferring that independent thinking to a classroom environment. Tim, did you want to spend some time talking about the application of some of these skills?
Sure. You can use, I thought this was the application for the college.
Oh, sorry.
Your skill set can get you ready for a variety of careers. Leadership is something that applies to any kind of office that you're going to work in. It could be part of human resources. You can use it in marketing. You can be an employer relations representative, or sometimes I like to think of as a public relations representative, which you don't see those too often. But someone has to communicate on behalf of everybody to everybody else, if it's a company, an organization, or what have you. And so that's a common position that we see some folks in this field go into. Same for healthcare, banking, independent or corporate trainers. I see a lot of those folks who are consultants who are hired by outside organizations to come in and help with negotiation skills or even help with presentation skills, because you'd be surprised at how many people have a hard time with this kind of stuff. So there's a whole contingent of people who have degrees in these fields who work independently as, very commonly called a corporate trainer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a corporate communicator or a specialist for communication consultation, and career planners as well. You see a lot of folks, especially in this day and age with this economy, working with people who are out of work. I have done it myself in years past, where you sit down with somebody who understands not just writing a good resume or writing good cover letters, but also the networking is involved and the kind of communication skills or soft skills, as it were, that you need to move within a particular field you're trying to find employment in. So it's more than just applying for a job and doing well in the interview, although that's obviously a big part of it. It's also working within the networks that are involved. And so a career planner is a pretty lucrative position in this day and age.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure. And as far as getting more information, you're probably already in our database. Everybody that signed up today for this webinar will be getting a packet with the new flyer for this new program. And we'll be doing some more sessions, probably online and on campus, as we get into the spring semester. Particularly March 10th would be a good time to put on your calendar if you're interested in meeting with Dr. Strom-Kays. She'll be at our Saturday open or information session on Saturday, March 10th. And you'll be hearing more as we go about this program. But if you have any questions, do feel free to contact Sarah or myself. Probably me would be better for admission information, and Sarah for questions about the program. But feel free to contact our office, the Office of Adult and Graduate Admission. There's our phone number, fax number, email, all there, and our website as well. And you can see more about this program online now, too, as that page has gone live. So now we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you do have any questions about this program, feel free to type them into the question box, and we'll get a little notification here. One question we got is, are there any breaks during the program? I have a family and would need a little time off.
Yes, there are. There's a break. Because the classes meet one day a week, it can be grueling because of the time that you do spend in the classroom. I completely understand. There's a break in the summer. I want to say it's like the end of July and into August. It ends up being like 4 or 5 weeks off. And I think Tim, you'll know this. There's a break at Christmas time.
Yeah, we're usually off in December from the end of the fall semester, which right now and this year is right this week is our finals week, and then we'd be off for about 2 weeks till January kicks in. And the first week of January, we come back for class right after the new year.
One thing I would encourage you to do is that as a full-time faculty member in the program, I'll be teaching a bulk of the courses in the program. We do understand that life happens. So one of the things you may want to do is if you happen to know something is coming up, maybe work in advance. And if something does happen, because we're communication scholars, we should spend time to make sure you talk with your professor and your teammates. Does that help? I hope to hear back to let you know if that helps at all.
Another question that came in is how many credits can I transfer from COD? This program, like the other accelerated programs that we offer here at Elmhurst College, are just the majors. So it's probably a good idea to have at least some transfer credit. We usually require at least a year or 32 semester hours, but we'll accept up to 64 hours for most of the 2-year schools. So in a perfect world, it's ideal to have an associate's degree or 2 years of college. It's not required to have an associate's degree, but it works out well. You transfer that in. This program is 36 hours?
This is, it's 10.25 course credits, so 41?
So it's about 40-some hours. So this will take you close to graduating, and afterwards you would have probably 6 or 7 more electives or other gen eds. And if you want to get into specifics with that, you'll probably want to set up an appointment with myself. I'm happy to sit down with you and look at your transcripts and see what credits you have, what's going to come over, and kind of get a little bit more precise with how much more you'd have to do in addition to this program. Another question just came in. How much is tuition? Well, we don't know what next year is going to be yet, but this year the accelerated programs are actually prorated at a smaller rate than the regular tuition, so we're at $5.59 per semester hour currently. That's as opposed to the traditional tuition, which is $8.54 an hour this year. So it is at a discount because we're trying to streamline the offerings here for this program. Another question, are there any scholarships or financial aid available for a 45-year-old student? We don't have specific adult scholarships at this time at the school, but all of our scholarships here for all of our students are considered fairly. We do have a set of scholarships just for these accelerated programs that are mostly merit-based. The budget's limited, so you can't apply in August and hope to get a full scholarship amount. But as long as you get your application in, I say anytime between March and May 1st is an ideal time. We do have scholarships for high achievers, starting at a 3.5 GPA and no lower than a 2.75 GPA. Those are all good questions. If anybody else has any more questions, now's the time to go ahead and plug them in. And like I said, if something occurs to you and you forgot to ask or you'd like to know, I'm going to go ahead and back this up so you can see our contact information. Feel free to email myself or Dr. Strom Case, and we'll be happy to answer anything that comes up. So I'll give you one more second here if there's anything pressing.
Can I refer folks to the website? Sure.
We've got one more question, though. Okay. Does real-world experience also transfer, i.e. will credit be awarded? That's a great question. Yeah, it's possible. We have what we call experiential learning programs here at the college. There's 3 different ways that we do that. The most direct, easy way is CLEP tests, which is college-level examination proficiencies, where you can take those through the college board. Same folks who do the ACT. There's particular gen ed subjects that we accept for that. That's one way to get alternative credit. We have given alternative credit in the past for non-collegiate training, military training, real estate license, things that are college-like but may not necessarily be at a college or a certificate or something like that. And then in some cases we have given credit for life experience. Now, it gets a little dicey in that you have to have a really specific thing that you can demonstrate skills in so that you can get that credit. We can't just dole it out for no reason. One example I always use that actually hasn't happened, but if you were, for example, an accountant, I have a friend who's an accountant for a company, has been doing it most of her career, is pretty good at it, but never actually took any coursework. She doesn't have a college degree. And so for her, she might be able to set up with an accountant professor, and that's what we would do here. And you should have to prove it to a faculty member. So you would work closely with Anna Lacasio, who's the registration person in our office here, and we kind of create a battle plan for you to possibly come up with a way to get credit. Now, this is something we're looking at evaluating and improving, so as you're here, that might become a better opportunity than what I just described, but it is possible. I was asked again what that March date again for the open house was, and that's going to be Saturday, March 10th will be our Saturday information session. And all of you are going to be on our mailing list, and you will receive more information about that. And by the way, if we didn't already mention it, this is a recorded webinar. We're going to be placing this on the OLC website in the near future, which I know Dr. Strom-Kays wanted to promote more.
Just so you could take a look at the course description. Just so you could look at the course descriptions, they are available on the website. I think you access that through the Elmhurst College website, adult programs. So if you want to read more about what the actual courses are, you can find some information there.
And I sent you a link to that in the invitation for the email, and I'll send it out again. So, feel free to contact us. So we had a whole flurry of questions there. If there's any more you'd like to submit, now's the time. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We don't want to take up everybody's entire lunch hour. All right. Well, I'll take that silence as that's enough. Thanks again for taking some time out today to join us on our little webinar. And thank you. Someone just said you're welcome. And thank you all for coming out. Now we'll be following up with all of you by email, so you'll get some more information from us in the near future. And have a great holiday, and thanks for attending.